Under the bright glare of studio lights, Hollywood loved to sell perfection, golden curls, porcelain skin, and a glow that could light up a theater. But here's the little trick they didn't want you to know. Many of those natural blondes were anything but natural. Behind the cameras, bottles of bleach and studio contracts rewrote reality itself. Brunettes became blondes overnight, and audiences never guessed the truth. Today, we're uncovering the stories behind those famous transformations, the real women beneath the Hollywood illusion, the ones who changed everything for a shot at stardom. And when we reach number 3, you'll see a reveal so unexpected, it might just change how you remember one of cinema's brightest icons.
Scotch, I guess, yeah, nice.
Number 1. Marilyn Monroe. Before she became the very definition of Hollywood blonde, Marilyn Monroe was a soft-spoken brunette named Norma Jean Mortensen, a factory worker with big dreams and mouse-brown hair. The transformation didn't happen overnight, but once it did, it changed movie history. When she first stepped into the industry, studio heads saw potential, but not the look. One executive famously said her natural color made her blend into the background. Their solution? Turn her hair to a shade so bright it would make the cameras fall in love. So she did. The peroxide blonde became her passport to fame and her disguise. Underneath the cheerful curls and breathy voice was a sharp, ambitious woman who carefully built her image one photo, one headline at a time. Marilyn wasn't just acting, she was performing Marilyn Monroe, and while the world saw glamour, she quietly joked that it took a lot of work to look that natural. That new color didn't just change her hair, it transformed her destiny. Brunette from Los Angeles became Hollywood's golden illusion, but that illusion came with a price. The woman behind it began to disappear beneath her own invention. Still, Marilyn understood one truth better than anyone. In Hollywood, it didn't matter who you were born as. It only mattered who you could become. And just when audiences thought they'd seen the ultimate blonde reinvention, another star appeared. One who didn't just change her hair, but her entire identity. Up next, a blonde whose peekaboo look became her trademark and whose natural roots might surprise you. Number 2. Veronica Lake.
In the early 1940s, few faces were more instantly recognizable than Veronica Lake. Her long, cascading hair that fell over one eye wasn't just a hairstyle, it was a national sensation. Women copied it, and Hollywood marketed her as the mysterious blonde every camera loved. But that famous golden hair? It wasn't quite what it seemed. Born Constance Frances Marie Okelman, Veronica's natural color was a deep, earthy brown. The transformation came when she was still a teenager, and a studio stylist decided her natural shade was too ordinary for the screen. After a few rounds of bleach, Hollywood's newest blonde was born. And so was the legend. Her talent was undeniable, but her image often overshadowed her. Directors called her difficult, while co-stars called her intense. Some say the mystery of her look was both her greatest weapon and her downfall. Ironically, during World War II, her signature hairstyle was even blamed for accidents. Women working in factories tried to imitate it, and it kept getting caught in machinery. The government actually asked her to change it, and she did. Her fame began to fade soon after, proving how much of her career had been tied to that single illusion, the perfect blonde. In truth, Veronica Lake's beauty was never just about hair color. It was about the quiet confidence that came through no matter the shade. Next up, the woman who started it all, the original platinum blonde, and the one you won't believe was never blonde to begin with.
Dinner at 8. Thanks. Well, goodbye for real this time, Mrs. Jordan.
Number 3. Jean Harlow. Long before Marilyn or Rita, there was Jean Harlow, the first true blonde icon of Hollywood's golden age. Her look set the standard, her hair color started a craze, and her name became synonymous with glamour. But here's the twist that stunned even her biggest admirers. Jean Harlow was born a natural brunette. When she arrived in Hollywood, studios didn't know what to do with her. She had a spark, but not the look. A stylist reportedly created that icy platinum shade that would change everything. The results were dazzling and dangerous. The chemicals damaged her scalp, but Jean kept going, determined to hold on to the look that made her unforgettable. Her image became Hollywood's obsession. Women lined up in salons asking for the Harlow blonde, never realizing the toll it took on the star herself. But beneath the sparkle, Jean was witty, sharp, and more self-aware than people gave her credit for. Her beauty was legendary, but her story was brief. She passed away at just 26, leaving behind a legacy that redefined Hollywood glamour forever. And as the film world mourned its first blonde legend, a new generation of stars began stepping into her shadow, determined to shine just as bright no matter the cost.
Up next, a blonde with brains, boldness, and a headline-making image that never stopped turning heads.
Actually, I feel that a star owes it to her public to...
Number 4, Jane Mansfield. Before the bright lights and pink convertibles, Jane Mansfield was Vera Jane Palmer, a clever, determined brunette from Texas who dreamed of stardom before she could even spell it. When she arrived in Hollywood, she quickly realized one thing: brains and ambition weren't enough. To get noticed, you needed a look, and in the 1950s, that look was unmistakable: the blonde. So Jane never looked back. What began as a simple color change turned into one of the most recognizable images of the decade. The studio called her the next big blonde, but Jane was far more strategic than the press gave her credit for. She played the part with precision, but off-screen, she was sharp, multilingual, and highly educated. The dumb blonde image was her invention, a marketing tool she used to get headlines, contracts, and attention in a business that often ignored smart women. Her natural dark hair peeked through only in old photos and a few candid shots, tiny reminders of the woman behind the glitter. Yet, Jane's transformation worked almost too well. The line between her real self and her Hollywood self blurred completely. Even as her career began to fade, she refused to let go of the illusion. For Jane, that blonde persona wasn't just a role, it was her ticket into history. And while Jane perfected the art of reinvention, another star approached it differently, less through sparkle and more through wit, charisma, and pure natural confidence. Up next, a leading lady who didn't need the spotlight to shine because she was the spotlight.
You've always misunderstood me, Lily, no matter what I said.
Number 5, Carole Lombard. Carole Lombard was one of those rare Hollywood stars who could make an entire audience laugh and then break their hearts in the same breath. She was charming, quick-witted, and utterly radiant. But the Carole the world adored wasn't exactly the Carole who first walked through a studio door. Born Jane Alice Peters in Fort Wayne, Indiana, she was a natural brunette who started acting as a teenager. When she caught the attention of casting directors, they loved her energy, but thought her look was too plain for the new generation of glamorous leading ladies. A few rounds of lightning and a fresh name later, Carole Lombard was born. The new look gave her an edge, a sparkle that caught every camera's eye. She quickly became the queen of screwball comedy, delivering fast-paced lines and mischievous grins that left audiences wanting more. But those who knew her off-screen said her real appeal came from her intelligence and her honesty, two things that never needed any dye to shine. And Carole understood the game better than most. She once joked, "I can't imagine being anything but blonde, at least not in this town." Tragically, her career and her life were cut short in a plane crash at just 33. Yet her legacy as one of Hollywood's brightest spirits endures. And while Carole's charm came from her wit, the next star's power came from something quieter: mystery, mood, and a look that Alfred Hitchcock himself couldn't resist perfecting. Up next, a studio's obsession, a director's muse, and a woman caught between illusion and identity. Number 7, Kim Novak. Kim Novak wasn't just a blonde. She was the blonde of the late 1950s. Her image was cool, composed, and unforgettable. But before the fame, she was a natural brunette from Chicago named Marilyn Pauline Novak. And like many before her, she discovered that Hollywood's success often came from being someone else entirely. When Columbia Pictures signed her, the studio was desperate for a new leading lady to rival Grace Kelly. Their solution was simple: transform the quiet brunette into a shimmering blonde mystery.
The result was instant success. Novak's silvery hair and dreamy gaze made her one of the most recognizable faces of her time. But beneath that studio-crafted look was a woman who often felt trapped by it. She once admitted, "They didn't want me to be me. They wanted me to be what they needed." Director Alfred Hitchcock, who cast her in Vertigo, turned that very struggle into a film about illusion and obsession. Kim later said making it felt almost autobiographical. Her natural color never defined her, but her decision to play along with Hollywood's idea of perfection did. And when she finally stepped away from the spotlight, she left the illusion behind, choosing peace over publicity. Kim Novak's story proved that even in a world built on make-believe, authenticity eventually shines through, no matter the shade. But our journey through these golden transformations isn't over yet. Before we wrap up, it's time for a quick pause and a little mystery before the final three reveal their hidden roots. If you're enjoying this trip through Hollywood's golden illusions, make sure you're subscribed and following along. We have 3 more incredible transformations ahead. Each one proves just how far the studios went to rewrite beauty, fame, and identity under the glare of those famous lights. If you're enjoying this trip through Hollywood's golden illusions, make sure you're subscribed and following along. We have 3 more incredible transformations ahead. Each one proves just how far the studios went to rewrite beauty, fame, and identity under the glare of those famous lights. Number 7. Rita Hayworth. Before she was the poster girl for 1940s glamour, Rita Hayworth was Margarita Carmen Cansino, a quiet brunette with Spanish roots and a modest start as a dancer. The Hollywood of that era had strict ideas about what a leading lady should look like, and Margarita didn't fit the mold. Studio executives took one look at her and decided she needed to be remade. Her dark hair was lightened to a soft copper blonde, her hairline was painfully electrolysis altered to appear more refined, and even her name was stripped of its heritage. Thus, Rita Hayworth was born the image of American glamour. Her transformation worked. The camera adored her. Audiences fell in love with beauty who lit up the screen in Gilda. But behind the studio-made perfection, Rita often spoke about feeling like a stranger to herself. Her dyed hair made her a star, but it also became her mask. A reminder that in Hollywood, reinvention wasn't just encouraged, it was required. And while Rita's copper blonde waves became her signature, there was one woman before her who truly defined what Hollywood blonde meant, and her story still shocks classic film fans to this day. Just when Hollywood thought it had seen every kind of transformation, along came a woman whose real-life story felt straight out of a movie. A brunette who became a blonde, a star who became royalty, and a mystery that still feels untouchable.
Or anything you wanted to be. And what have you become?
Grace Kelly was Hollywood's idea of perfection, serene, poised, and so effortlessly elegant that even her still photographs seemed to breathe. But before she became the world's most famous blonde, Grace was a light brown-haired girl from Philadelphia with big dreams and a quiet confidence that set her apart. Number 8. Grace Kelly. When she arrived in Hollywood in the early 1950s, studios saw something rare: refinement with warmth. Yet, to make her stand out among the rising crop of young actresses, her hair was gradually lightened into the soft golden tone that would define her image. That pale shimmer gave her an angelic glow on screen, and soon she was the ultimate Hitchcock muse, the cool, unreachable beauty audiences couldn't take their eyes off. But off-camera, Grace was far more grounded than her pristine image suggested. Friends said she had a quiet wit and a practical sense of humor about the illusions surrounding her. "I'm just a girl who likes to act," she once said, downplaying the royal image that Hollywood and later Monaco built around her. Her transformation from a natural brunette into cinema's most graceful blonde wasn't just cosmetic, it symbolized her entire journey. Hollywood molded her into a fantasy, and then life carried that fantasy into reality when she became Princess Grace of Monaco. Even then, the world continued to see the polished exterior, the golden hair, the fairy tale perfection, while beneath it all was the thoughtful artist who had once longed simply to tell stories. Grace Kelly's beauty was legendary, but her true magic was quiet strength, the kind that never depended on a shade of gold to shine. And with her, our journey through Hollywood's golden illusions comes. Tell us in the comments which of these transformations surprised you the most so far. Was it Marilyn's carefully crafted image or Jean Harlow's shocking secret beneath that platinum glow? We'd love to know which Hollywood legend you think wore the disguise best or fooled the world completely. In the golden age of Hollywood, nothing was ever quite what it seemed. Beneath the glittering lights and perfect smiles, even something as simple as hair color told a story of ambition, transformation, and survival in a world built on image. These women weren't just stars. They were visionaries who understood the power of reinvention. They turned illusion into art and, in doing so, shaped how generations would define beauty and fame. So the next time you watch one of their films, look a little closer, beyond the studio lights, beyond the blonde. You might just glimpse the real woman beneath the legend.